Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I am here with Dr. Tom Granoff, and we are talking about statistics and getting a little bit more in depth. And we wanted to talk a little bit about the types of data. So I'm going to hand it off to you.
Thanks, Rebecca. This should be a review of some of what you've done in stats class.
Okay.
There's basically four kinds of data. I've split it up a little bit beyond that, but the reason we want to know the type of data that we're using is that if you know that, in another of our presentations, we'll talk about what statistic to use when. But the key is first understanding what kind of information you have.
Okay.
So the four, and this is one of the few things in statistics that the name actually makes sense as to what it is. The four types are nominal,
Yep.
ordinal, interval, and ratio. And you'll notice on my little chart here, we split nominal up into two types. If there's only two groups of people, or if there's three or more groups of people. Two groups of people is sometimes referred to as dichotomous. Male and female, Caucasians and others, yes or no, experimental or control. There's a psychological phenomena that everybody can be split into two groups of people. Those that put people in two groups and everybody else. So that's the closest I have to a dichotomy joke. Sorry, guys.
I love it.
Three groups of nominal. With nominal, you just say this is a category. You really can't do math on it. And all you can really say is how many and what percentage of the sample it is.
Yeah.
Caucasian.
Difference between categorical and continuous data, right? Because you hear people those two things.
Yes. So examples of a three-group nominal: Caucasian, Hispanic, others, yes, unsure, no, USA, Mexico, Canada. You have separate groups. People can only be in one group.
Right.
But there's three groups. The reason I'm separating those is you use different kinds of statistics, whether you have two groups or you have three.
Okay. Good to know.
So that's something to look at there.
Okay.
The next, so as Rebecca was saying, we could kind of put a line there on row 14 there. We have nominal, and then we have everything else. Everything with ordinal, interval, and ratio is some type of a continuous variable because you can put things on a continuum from lower to higher. And as we go farther down this chart, there's a greater level of specificity and precision. So ordinal level data, the classic example that most people know are Likert scales, maybe strongly disagree, disagree, unsure, agree, strongly agree. Never to always, poor quality to excellent quality, things like that. Right. The second one there, age grouping, less than a year, 1 to 17, 18 to 24, and 65 plus. I found that one when I was working in healthcare, because we used to, for insurance purposes, we would split people into less than a year. Oh, those are the newborns.
Yeah.
1 to 17, those are kids.
Yeah.
18 to 64, those are adults. 65 plus are seniors.
Yeah.
It's not real precise, but you can see you can go from younger to older with that.
Yeah.
And that's ordinal level. And in another of our videos, we're going to talk in detail about different kinds of Likert ordinal scales.
Awesome.
The third are what are referred to as interval level scales. That's most of the psychological tests that you see, whether it's on leadership or job satisfaction or group cohesion or intelligence or things like that. Those are typically measured on the interval level. Interval is also when you have precise groupings. So 0 to 9 years, 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39, etc. Ratio level data is where you have an actual zero score. Somebody's age, height, number of correct answers, actual number of years of experience. With ratio, you can form ratios. If Bill is 10 years old and Mike is 5 years old, Bill is twice as old as Mike. You can actually form a ratio in that.
Yeah.
Now, in general, when you're collecting data, you'll want to have it be at the highest level that you can, ideally interval or ratio, because that gives you more choices. Let me give you an example. I'm 64 years old. Now, sometimes in human resources, they ask the question, are you over 18 or older? The answer is yes. That's a true statement about me. It doesn't give a lot of information, but yes, I'm in the 18 and older group. Using that scale, less than 1 to 17, 18 to 64, and 65 plus, I'm 64, so I'm in that 18 to 64 range. It's a little bit more precise, but not really. The interval level, if we're talking about my age, I'm 60 something. And then the ratio level would be the actual age of 64.
So yeah, it gets more precise as you go down.
And there's more information that you can glean from it. Now, the fact that I'm 64, we could lump me back into the 60 something or 18 to 64 or over 18 or over. So where possible, you'll want to start with the highest level you can. How this particularly happens when people have surveys and they have their demographics. They want to somehow pre-code it to say, oh, are you in your 20s or your 30s or 40s? My recommendation is you just leave a blank line. You gather their actual age, their actual years of experience, then you can categorize it later based on what makes sense for your research.
Oh, it gives you more flexibility when you're a little bit more specific.
Yes.
Okay.
Gives you a lot more flexibility. Yes. This is our presentation on examples of types of data.
This is great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.